Hey everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. How you guys doing today? How are you feeling? If you are here with me on the chat, live on Facebook or YouTube, put in the comments where you are connecting from. If you're watching on the replay, type replay so I know that you're here. And I'm sending you love into the future when you are watching this replay. Also, if you're here, let your people know, tag your folks who you want to join you. I am going to be doing readings today. So come on in and get your questions answered. One of the things that I want to talk about has to do with love, relationships, energy sensitive women, and our energy theme for 2025, which, if you saw my January 1st broadcast, you know that the energy theme for this year is knowing. That has to do with um, honoring what you actually know and not pretending like you don't know, and then walking in and moving with what you know, and all of the ways that that's going to show up for all of us this year. You're going to have time again and again and again to choose to know what you know. But when it comes to relationships, energy sensitive people, including energy sensitive women, often disregard what they know because they are picking up on the vibes of the person that they're interested in or the vibes of the person that they feel connected to. And then they start making relationship decisions and they base their own behavior based on the feeling and on the interest that they pick up from the other person, even if the other person is not behaving in a way that's consistent with someone who is genuinely interested in getting to know you. Hey, Nawi, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining us. Let me know where you are connecting from. If you're just joining the live or if you're watching on the replay, type in the comments where you're connecting from. And also, if you're on the replay, type in the word replay so that I know that you're here. Hit the like button, hit the love button, hit the share button, and be sure to follow my page on Facebook at Inspired Jamila, or also on YouTube under Jamila White. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you are notified whenever I go live. So I was talking about energy sensitive people, and what we tend to do is we date connection. And I included myself in this because it took me decades to learn how not to do this as an empath and as an energy sensitive person. We have so much compassion for the other person and their wounds and what they've been through, and nobody understands them. And I can feel how they want to be a better person for me. I can feel their attraction. And then we start dating the connection instead of dating the actual person that's in front of us who is behaving in a certain way. Noe, how are you typing replay? You on here live? I'm sorry, no Wheelie in Detroit. Hey, no Wheelie in Detroit. You're not on the replay. You on here live because I'm talking to you right now. Anywho, I was talking about we get caught up in the feeling and the promise of what the relationship could be instead of meeting the person where they are as far as how they are interacting with us. The other thing that we often tend to do is we think that nervous feeling, that scared feeling, that triggered feeling, sometimes we call it butterflies, the palms sweating and all of these other things and the stomach flipping. We have been told and been sold a story by Hollywood that that's what love feels like. When actually, most of the time, that is our nervous system's red flags warning us. So, what we think of often as an indication of chemistry is often our nervous system saying, no, girl, go the other way, go the other way, go the other way. This isn't right. So, we need to pay attention to that because someone who is truly for you has the effect of soothing your nervous system. You actually feel more grounded. You actually feel calmer, in part because they're behaving in ways that are consistent. They're not running hot and cold. They're not, now you see them, now you don't. They disappear, then they pop back up. That's not actually what we want. And our nervous systems are responding to that instability with what we call butterflies, and we think is love, and then we end up um, moving towards and sometimes even pursuing someone who is emotionally unavailable or is inconsistent in their behavior, right? And we don't want that. Yeah. So now, really, so truth be told, yeah, yeah. So if you're just joining the chat, jump in the comments. Let me know where you are connecting from. And Will, you're on Facebook. Okay, who else is on Facebook and who's on YouTube? Just holler. I can see both comments in my news feed right now. Whoops, just bumped my screen. And in a minute, we're going to take readings in a minute. Okay, so tag your people, let them know that you're here. Even if you're on the replay, you're going to want to catch this. One thing that I've learned over years and years of doing these live stream events and also doing in-person group readings and things like that, whatever one person has a question or a topic or a situation and they get a reading, it always applies to more than one person. Okay, always. Always, always, always. Actually, let me get some words on the screen. I forgot to do that. Let me do that. Let me put the title up here. Okay, so people who are just dialing in will know who I am. I'm Jamila White, by the way. I'm a psychic medium, intuitive life coach, author of A Year of Self-Love Journal, 52 weeks of prompts and practices for loving who you are. And I'm also a transformational retreat leader of domestic and international retreats for energy sensitive women. So I am going to take questions. If you've got questions and you want a reading, you can jump into the chat. I see there are some folks who have just joined us. Welcome, folks. Welcome, folks. Make sure you pop in the chat. Let me know where you're connecting from. And if you have a question that you want answered, go ahead and pop it in the chat. Okay. If you want a question that you want intuitively answered, you want to ask about a relationship or a situationship or just the status of your heart and what's going on in there. Or if you have some other question that's not related to other people and relationships, go ahead and pop that in the chat. Sometimes it takes a second for these things to load. Pop it in the chat. So as I was saying, while I'm waiting for these comments to catch up on the screen, as I was saying, a lot of times energy sensitive women, we tend to, until we heal our traumas and our baggage and our issues, we will tend to gravitate towards people who are emotionally unavailable or they are very needy, and it's an imbalance where we are the comfort providers and this is someone that we see as broken and we need to help them heal and nurture. And when we end up doing that, what we end up attracting are projects and not partners. And I'm not saying that everybody has to come fully healed because we're all of us are on our healing journeys. We are all works in progress. We all have things that we are working on healing, working on releasing, and all of that. But so we're not trying to find a perfect person. What I'm talking about is deep imbalances where how many of us have had that experience of um, getting to know, pursuing, falling in love with, dating, being infatuated with someone who is just so hurt and that they can't fully show up in the relationship, but we think we're going to nurture them back to health, or we think that we are going to um, help fix them or heal them. And then they go ahead and eventually they get better and then they go on to somebody else because now they see you as the nursemaid, not the attraction, or they continue to draw and draw and draw on us without actually investing in the relationship. And we think that we're going to love them into loving us. Oh, you're hitting it on the ball field. Girl, yes, yes. So that, a lot of us have had that experience, especially, I mean, a lot of women in general, and men as well. Most of my clients are women, so I'm addressing mostly women here as far as this live stream, but especially for energy sensitive women. And we don't even often recognize that we have a gift in our compassion, but when that gift is not balanced with reciprocity and with someone who is investing in the relationship, and showing up to be fully present. You can be afraid and still show up, and show up scared, and show up like, hey, I'm scared, but let's figure this out together. Okay, so there's sometimes this fear when you start to have deep emotions for someone, but the other person, even if they take a pause, they show up to be present even in their fear. And that's how you know there's more of a healthy indicator. If you got to go and get them and drag them and pull them into the relationship, and you find out that, over time you're doing most of the work. What started as just, I'm going to be encouraging, and it kept getting bigger and bigger, because the more work you did, the more they shrank back, which meant the more work you did. Next thing you know, you realize you're pretty much in this relationship by yourself, doing all of the work, doing the work of two people, while the other person is just sitting back and let you do all this work. And then you end up feeling resentful, but that's not their fault. That's our fault, because we did that. There's a saying about, you can't complain about people draining you if you keep handing them a straw. So we have to be really mindful of our own energy in dating and in relationships, and especially when um, we keep making ourselves available for someone who has demonstrated that they are committed to not being committed fully and present fully with us, right? So we have to pay attention to when we do that. So that being said, if you have questions, go on ahead and put your questions in the chat. Okay, I see a question from Rachel. Let's see. Rachel says, I'm doubting my matches where I am in London. I feel like this will happen in my other location. Am I right? Okay. So here's the thing, Rachel. This is a great question. Like, is my love somewhere else other than where I am? Because it ain't here. So I'm going to give a general statement for everyone, and then I'm going to get specific into your situation, Rachel. I think a lot of times we are so focused that we have to go find our person, or we have to, when I say go find, I don't just mean this country, that country, this city, that city, but even I need to go to Home Depot on a Sunday where all the men are, because all of that kind of stuff, where we have to do something in order to find our person. I would like to encourage anyone who's even wondering about that to first take a step back. And of course, you want to make yourself available, and you want to be present, and you want to not be hiding under a rock, because you do need to be visible enough for that your person to find you. But what's for you, you can't miss it. Who's for you, you can't miss them. Your person, if they're not in London, they'll catch you in the other place. Okay. Or they'll catch you in Australia, or they'll catch you in Morocco. Wherever you are, your person is going to find you. Your person, you may even have to cross paths with them multiple times before you even realize that's your person. And so a lot of times we're like, I need to go here to go find my person. And this is also for you specifically, Rachel, is your person is on your path. It's not so much about the geographic location and you need to go here to meet your person because you can find your person in London. Your person is on your path. And as long as you are on your path, you're going to meet your person. Also, secondly, just think about your person. In doing thousands and thousands of readings professionally in 13, 14 years, however long it's been, 13 years. This is one thing that I've learned that actually surprised me initially, because it flew in the face of everything that we were shown and taught about. You have one soulmate and this, that, and the other. So I have never done a single reading in 13 years. And again, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of readings. I've probably done over 5,000 readings. That it showed up that a person had one soulmate on this earth. And if you miss your person, right? So if you understood that most people have at least 8, sometimes more, even an 80-year-old woman that I did a reading for has 3 or 4 that were still walking around on the face of this earth. If you understood that you had 5, 6, 8, 10, a dozen, 15, 20 soulmates walking around the face of, when I say soulmates, I'm talking about life partners, potential life partners, walking on the face of this earth all over, that if you knew that there was an abundance and not a limitation of there's one person and oh my God, what if you miss your person? You would walk different, you would move through the world different, and you would also be less tolerant of being mistreated because you're just like this, if I thought this was my person, but there's definitely other options. Now, we don't always get to see all of our soulmates at the same time. Like, I would love if it was like a soulmate pageant where it's like, oh, look at this one. Yeah, that's usually not how it works. And if it did, where you have more than one that showed up at the same time, you actually don't want that because that would kind of give you a bit of a dilemma. You probably don't want that. But um, if you release someone or you don't get into the relationship with someone that you meet that is a soulmate, a life partner, you will meet another one. It's like a bus, another one is going to come. Okay. So first, just understanding that your match, you're trying to find your one person, Rachel. You have multiple matches sprinkled all over, including maybe even several sprinkled in the area where you are. So that's not the point. Your blessing is not going to miss you. So we end up with this lack mentality of FOMO, fear of missing out. Like if I don't accept this bad behavior from this person, oh my God, I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. Yeah, no, that's not how your angels and ancestors have things set up for you. You have an abundance. Now, specifically for you, Rachel, back to this point about your person is on your path. I'm going to give you an example. Um, just recently, and I was messaging with this client earlier today. Just recently, I saw a story about a beautiful wedding in the New York Times, and it was my client. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is gorgeous. First of all, I mean, it was just amazing. It was such a beautiful spread. And I messaged her to say congratulations because she had shared it on her IG feed. And I messaged her to congratulate her and, on her wedding and all of that. And she said, messaged me back, oh my God. Actually, let me pull up this text and tell you exactly what she said. And this is related to you, Rachel. So I don't want you to think I've forgotten. She said, oh, thank you so much. I'm not sure if you recall this, but the very first reading you ever gave me, you described him as my person. This was back in 2017. I've kept and replayed that audio recording many times. So, okay, all of this to say, part of her story was she felt um, guided to move from her city all the way across the country for other reasons. She wasn't going looking for her husband, but she felt guided. And when she did that, ultimately, that's where she met her person. So she didn't go there looking for him. She was following her intuition and also some career paths where her heart said yes. And her heart said yes about moving to this new location, like that she would be happier there, that it was a better fit for her. And that's where she found her person. Similarly, years ago, it's probably like 10 years ago, I had an intuitive client who, over a period of 2 years, every time she came to me, she was always asking me about relationships. And she was concerned that, she was having this issue dating this person and then this issue dating this other person. There was always this churning in her relationship life, and she felt like she couldn't find her person. And always also in the same breath, she would often mention curiosity about Reiki and wanting to learn Reiki. And this happened over 2 years. So she kept delaying what she was curious about, which in her case was learning Reiki. So eventually she signed up for my Reiki class that I was teaching. She did Reiki 1 with me. And I think that she also did Reiki 2 with me, Reiki level 2. Long story short, one of my other students who was had reached the master level and was my teaching assistant for my Reiki 1 class happened to be in the class. And they met and became friends and started dating. And then they got into this serious relationship. Now, why do I bring this up? Because she was out there looking for her relationship and ignoring her intuition, which didn't sound like go take this class and you will meet, your love. And they were in a relationship for several years. They both moved on to other people eventually, but they were in a relationship for several years. Now, It wasn't like she got this intuition that said, you must go here to find your person. But she kept getting this nudge to do something she really wanted to do. And for whatever reason, she kept pushing it aside, pushing it aside, pushing it aside. And a lot of times, our intuition shows up as curiosity. It shows up as a nudge to do something interesting, or sometimes just an inexplicable nudge to go somewhere unusual that you don't normally go, or even to pick up and move. And then that's part of our path. And lo and behold, our person is on that path. And every moment that we delay doing this other thing that we were called to do, we actually delay meeting our person. Now, again, remember what I said, you can't miss your blessing. Your person is for you, or your people are for you, and you can't miss them, but you can delay yourself from meeting them, right? So my recommendation to you, Rachel, is don't worry about where your match is. Live your life. Your match will find you, and you all will be brought together. And I've seen instances where spirit has put the same person in front of someone a couple of times before they got it, like, oh, I need to pay attention to this person, right? So I'll leave you with this, Rachel. If you're not happy in London, leave London. Go to where your heart is calling you, but don't go there with the intention that I have to go somewhere to find my person. Because just the act of I'm looking is actually the opposite of the energy that's going to help your person find you. I don't feel like you're going to go find your person. I feel like your person's going to find you specifically for you, Rachel. So go live your life. Go where your joy is. If it means leaving London, great. Because when you're ready and you're open and you're on your path, it doesn't matter whether you're in London or the other place, your person going to find you. Y'all might meet at the airport or at the grocery store or wherever. Like when you're ready, your person's gonna find you. And that, people say go to church, go to Home Depot, go to all these places. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. When you're ready, your person's gonna find you. So thank you for your question, Rachel. I see some other ones in here. Hey, Andrea. And she says, absolutely, my path has included different countries and even in the club. Yeah. Different soulmates for different seasons. Yeah, that's possible too. Now, Willie, and I hope I'm saying your name right, as a creative, I'd like to think I'll align with my soulmate. I feel like my soulmate transitioned October 2024, so can feel his presence and elevate a soul like him show up. So, yes, one of your soulmates may have been this person who transitioned last fall, and I'm sorry for your loss. However, you have, like I said in the beginning, I have yet to meet a single person in over 5,000 readings who only had one soulmate on this earth. Now, again, you can meet your soulmate at age 13 and just know that that's what I want to be with the rest of my life if you are monogamous in that way. And you all are fine. You don't need to meet anybody else. But in some cases, you need to meet a couple of these, right? And they also have free will and choice. So you may have met a soulmate who then transitioned, but that doesn't mean that you're done. You have multiple soulmates walking around. So, an elevated soul, if you all had a deep soul connection, he may also be showing up for you as an ancestor or guide. He might even be, or did I say he? Let me not assume it's a he. This person may also be on your what I call your search committee to help you connect with your person or one of your people. So someone who's a soulmate may have transitioned, but that doesn't mean that you're done. And it doesn't matter whether you're 21 or 85. Okay, so if your intention is you want to be in a loving, committed relationship, a partnership, a marriage, or whatever, then you go ahead and do that. So thank you for your question. Hey, Lovey on YouTube, my girl Tanisha. I know you. Happy Loves Holiday, everyone. Happy Loves Holiday to you too. I feel like I need to play some Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay, so she says, if my intuition is telling me to spend some time in the Caribbean, it may be leading me to my love. I'm totally done exploring that. Okay, you guys have totally missed the point. Let me back up. You guys have totally missed the point. If your intuition is telling you to spend some time in the Caribbean, it is leading you to your love, but that's the love of you. That's your self-love, which makes you even more attractive to find a partnered love. So I want you all to get rid of this notion that every time you have a nudge to go somewhere is because you think you're gonna go somewhere and meet a man. You might, and you might meet men who are not your soulmate, but are still worthy to meet and get to know, right? So Trust where you are led without being attached to the outcome of why you're being led there. When I was talking about everything that's for you is on your path, I wasn't just talking about love relationships. You might meet someone who is a catalyst for something amazing that you're going to do in your career. But if you go down there or anywhere else, specifically with this idea of I have to go this place and meet my mate because they're not here, then you kind of you're cutting off your nose to spite your face and you're missing out on life. Like, be willing to go somewhere to have an amazing experience, even if you don't know what that is. Be willing to be surprised and delighted by what's there for you, whether it's your person or not. Be willing to be the kind of person who pursues joy and falls in love with herself or himself or their selves, and that whether you meet this other person or not, like, detach from trying to control how this person is going to be brought to you. Do y'all hear me about that? Somebody put in the chat if y'all hear me, right? Like if you get that, like, detach from the outcome that I have to do this formula of A, B, and C, then I can go and collect my person. Like, this is not a vending machine of I do this and I went to this location and I pressed the button and then, like a soda, it fell out and here is my husband. Like, that is not how this works. I love y'all, but I really need y'all to hear that. Thank you, Ty Lavi, for your question. All right, but like I said, you know me. If anybody needs to go to the Caribbean, like, you don't need a reason to go visit the Caribbean or move to the Caribbean. You're asking the wrong person. This is someone who popped up and moved to Barbados for 3+ years, right? And is still deeply connected to Barbados. So, like, you don't need to justify why you feel like you want to go to the Caribbean. Okay, she said, I say, right. Okay. Okay, so K Clar 005 says, I am open, but love seems closed. Am I not really open subconsciously? How do I bring my subconscious into? Ooh, that's a great question. So, first of all, love is never closed. Love itself is never closed. By nature, by definition, love cannot be closed. Love loves. That's what love does. So, it's really great that you recognize that if love loves and I'm not experiencing love in my life, and again, we're love is love, and whether you are looking for a partner or not, focusing on the lack of love is going to keep you in lack of love. Look at all of the various ways, whether it is romantic love or not, that love is showing up in your life, and support, praise, give attention to that and watch it multiply, because everything that you give your attention to is what grows. And if you're giving your attention to the lack part, that's going to play a part in what you see. Now, let's tune into what's specifically going on with you. Let me see. I'm open, but love seems closed. So I also want to challenge your perception of yourself while I'm tuning into your energy. You said that love seems closed, which means you're not actually open. And there's a part of your brain that knows that, which is why you ask the question that way. I'm open, but love isn't, because I don't want to look too deep. I want to look at myself, but not too deep. Right? All right, let's see what's going on with you. Okay, you're at a crossroads. You're at a crossroads after a lot of disappointment, and also some unfulfilling relationships that were very surface level, and maybe even some relationships where you wanted a deeper connection, but the other person wanted to stay surface level, especially they wanted to be physical, and you wanted physical plus deep, right? And I'm getting that there's still some healing around that experience of, I don't even know if the word is used, it might be, but feeling like someone's not going to be interested in me truly for me. They're going to be interested in me for what I can give them or how I can make them feel sexually or otherwise. I'm getting a lot of energy around that I'm not enough. And the way that people are experiencing me is I have to do for them in order for them to stick around, and do for them in all of the, in different ways. In this one relationship, it might have been I'm very nurturing and doing for them, even though I'm not receiving anything back. Or in this one, it might be I'm doing for them sexually, but I'm not receiving anything back. And so for you, part of your healing journey has to be around self-worth and knowing that you don't have to do anything to earn love, that you're worthy of love now, but then also walking in that and not every time you feel like you need to prove yourself in a relationship or even in a pre-relationship in the early stages of just getting to know someone, dating, talking, whatever, you feel like you need to prove yourself. That lets you know that you're out of alignment. You don't have to prove yourself. You're enough as is. And so just learning how to rest in that and trusting that I don't have to overgive in order for someone to find my company attractive and valuable. Right? You do not have to do that. Now that being said, there's somebody coming. There's two people coming that I want to bring your attention to. There may be two more than two people that show up that you interact with, date, or whatever, but there's two that stand out as important lessons. And I also want to emphasize that every life lesson doesn't have to be painful. We can learn through joy, we can learn through struggle, we can learn through loss, we can learn through all of these different things. The lesson itself might still be the same, but there are different ways to get the lesson. And what I see in front of me is two different lessons for you. And you don't have to stay in these lessons because one of these lessons feels like a player, right? One of these lessons feels like a big ego, puffed up personality of I want to wear the clothing of a king, but I don't actually have king energy, and I want to convince that I'm a king. So somebody who's announcing that I'm this and I'm that, or I'm alpha male, or I'm this, you know, whatever. Somebody who has to announce the kind of man he is isn't the kind of man that he wants to be. If he has to announce it, his action he has to overcompensate with his words for his lack of action and lack of energy in that place. Whatever that is. So I feel like he wants to put the crown on. I am the king, but the emperor has no clothes in this particular instance. And I want you to be careful about this person because um, I feel like you might have some tendency to fall in love with his words and what he's promising and what he's saying to you and the compliments that he's giving you. There may even be a little bit of like love bombing going on with him. I don't know if you've met this person yet, but I'm a little, you know, I'm not feeling him for you. Okay. So he's gonna show up though, and how long you all interact is gonna be up to you. I hope that you recognize him for who he is sooner rather than later, because the earlier you nip this in the bud, the better off you'll be and the less uncomfortable you'll have to be. The longer you get involved with this person, the more difficult it will be as you get deeper emotionally invested, and he starts playing the games, the mind trick games. So I see this person. Now, the other person that I see that I like a lot that feels this person feels solid. This person feels stable. This person feels consistent. Like he does what he says he's going to do. And if for some reason he can't, then he communicates that. Like I see someone who doesn't leave you guessing, and he's calmer, quieter, um, he's emotionally aware. And I also see children around him. And I don't know if that means that he has children or he works with children or he just loves children and is great with children, nieces, nephews, godchildren, or if these are y'all's children together. But I see children around him, and I see like children climbing on him and playing because children in their energy recognize that he's a safe space and that he's fun. And I see him just like soaking up all of that energy. And I love that for you. But you got to first I don't think he comes first. I think he comes second after you make a decision about this other guy, the fake king, the emperor has no clothes. Like they have such contrast. It's like night and day. And the sooner you nip the other one in the bud, I'm running my mouth, but I'm not about shit. As soon as you like get rid of him, you open the way for this other guy, this other person to show up. So thank you so much for your question. Love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. And if you feel like you are starting to lean into proving, like I need to prove my worth to this person, then you're out of alignment and just step back for a second and focus on you without judging yourself. Just like, oh, look what I'm doing. I feel like I have to prove to keep his attention, or I have to perform to keep his attention. Lean back a little bit. Okay. Now, with the first guy, the fake king guy, when you lean back a little bit just to do a vibe check with yourself, he's going to react. He's not going to like that you lean back and have reduced some of your attention because he thrives off of attention. He's an energy vampire. And by the way, most energy vampire, all energy vampires don't announce themselves with a t-shirt that says, "Hi, I'm an energy vampire," right? But they feed off of your energy. Now, when you lean back a little bit to do your own vibe check, he's going to react like and make accusations and try to gaslight you. That's going to be another red flag. That's going to let you know about him. So the sooner you move through that very short learning experience, the quicker, if speed is what you're looking for, this other person can show up because he's not going to show up until you learn something from this other guy. All right. So thank you so much for your question. Okay. Oh, Lavi had another comment that said, yeah, our souls connect to many people. Yeah, sometimes at the same time, sometimes not. Okay, now really going back to the earlier question, said I feel he's an ancestor and told me to keep growing. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, April. Happy Loves Holiday. April is on YouTube connecting. Rukia is on Facebook connecting. Hey, Rukia. Happy Love Day. Okay, so Levi says, regarding the Caribbean, my nudge is to study, but I'm totally for meeting a loved one or oath finder. What is an oath finder? Pathfinder? I don't know what that is, but go, because even if your nudge is to study, that'll give you some um, purpose and meaning and some fulfillment and discovery. And you just be open to connecting with like-hearted souls, whether they are romantic partners or not. A lot of times we're so focused on getting a romantic partner that we aren't open to friendships from all kinds of people, collaborators, playmates of all kinds of people, mentors and mentees. And we miss out on some really joyful, meaningful connections because we're focused on dating and getting a relationship out of a particular person or out of someone that we got to find. So yeah, thank you for that. RA say good afternoon. A love from my past is around. Should I try again? We both have changed. Okay. Let me tune in. Okay, so here's what I'm getting. I am getting that this might be a valuable experience, but that this is not your person. Now, don't take my word for it because I want you to live your life, right? And you have the power of choice. You also have the power of your own discernment. So I feel like this is a valuable experience because there is something to be gained and shared here mutually. But I also think that part of this, we both have changed. I think you're giving them the benefit of the doubt, which is generous of you. I think you're giving them a lot of benefit of the doubt. That some of this we have changed is some of this, there is some change there with this potential partner, this previous partner, but the amount of change and the depth of change is not there on the level that you are looking for a serious relationship. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that there isn't something beautiful to experience here, but I'm not seeing this person as a compatible life partner for you for a serious, committed, long term relationship. So, keeping that in mind, go into this. My suggestion is to go into this as if this was a new relationship. So, you're neither bringing the baggage from the past and whatever happened that caused the two of you all to separate, but you're not also giving too much benefit of the doubt based on nostalgia. Because I feel like there's a piece of nostalgia here that has triggered you into, you're not completely in rose colored glasses, but you got some sunglasses on here where you're hopeful, and that hopefulness and also the feeling of connection. I don't know if you were here at the very beginning of this live stream. If you missed the first couple of minutes, after this is done, go back and listen to the first few minutes where I was talking about how energy sensitive people, especially energy sensitive women, often overcompensate for deficiencies in their partner's consistency and behavior because there is such a connection. A connection is not commitment. And a connection is not behavior. Connection, the feeling of connectedness, including I've known this person for many lifetimes connectedness, that's a beautiful thing, but that's the beginning. That's the thing that makes you want to do the effort that is required in order to be in the relationship that both parties have to put forth. If this person is not actually making effort consistently and that is relying on connection, and you're overcompensating and overlooking some things just because the connection is so great. I feel so connected. Oh, we feel so connected. Anytime one of my clients gets on a session with me and they ask about a person, the first thing they say is, "Oh, we feel so connected." I know it's a red flag. Because if they're leading with the fact that there's the connection, that means that there's something else that they're ignoring. If they're leading with, "Oh, we are so connected," I know that they're going to start talking about stuff. And when I start asking some more probing questions, we're going to find very consistent inconsistencies in that other person's behavior, inconsistencies in terms of they're not showing up consistently, or inconsistencies in that their words and their actions don't match up. Without fail, happens every single time. Okay, so for you, RA, I would keep an open mind, but also look at this person's behavior and ignore how connected you feel. Based solely on their behavior, how compatible are you? If you're being honest with yourself, and you may need more time to explore and discover this, but be very discerning in behavior and not words, and behavior and not just the feeling of connectedness. Okay. The connectedness is what should make this other person want to step up their game for you and be consistent for you and be present for you and face their fears for you and with you versus, "Oh, but we're so connected." When they lead with that, I know they're overcompensating for something else. Thank you so much, RA. Let's take another question. These questions are great, by the way. Okay, Rukia had said, "I hear you." Before what I was saying, do y'all hear me when I say about being attached to the outcome of finding a person? People saying, "I hear you. I hear you." Message received. Absolutely. Okay, so back to Rachel's comment. I did the reading for Rachel a minute ago. She said, "This chimes with me. Thanks. I totally feel that the joyful career move will put me in a different space, which in turn can attract the special vibe I'm interested in." Honey, you are the special vibe. It's not the job. It's not the location. It's you. You're the special vibe. You're the common denominator in all of this. And it is your energy that will help the other person find you because they're programmed to look for a particular energy, consciously, subconsciously, whatever. You being in a job that helps you thrive energetically is always a plus, but it's not the job. It isn't the job. It isn't the city. It isn't the country. I really want you to hear me. It's you, baby. Baby girl, it's you. You are the whole vibe. Really, you are. You don't need to be somewhere special. You can be right where you are. And if you are in your own energy, in your truest, most realist version of yourself, most authentic version, this person can find you no matter where you are. You can move to Antarctica and have a job as a bean counter. But I don't mean an accountant, I mean literally just counting beans, and your person will find you. I want y'all to please get out of this mindset that I have to be in the right job, in the right city, in the right whatever to find my person. Please relieve yourself of that because you're doing yourself a disservice. You are it. You're the magic. You're the magic. Okay. Thank you, Rachel. Hey, Misha on YouTube from New Orleans. How you doing, love? I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, Lovey is fixing her earlier typo. She said she meant Pathfinder. Yes. Okay. Scrolling down into some more comments. Okay. April said, "Marriage with my husband. How is our relationship? How do we spice it up?" Girl, I'm looking in this camera like, are you really asking me this? Um, because I know you and I know a little bit about your situation. You don't need to ask me how your relationship is. You tell me how your relationship is. You're energy sensitive, you're intuitive, and you're observant. How is your relationship and how do you spice it up? I'm also not going to answer that question. I love you so much, but we actually did a whole session on that, right? On how to spice up specifically. around that connection and how he's wired. So I'm going to say this with love. Ask me something else. Mecca! Hey, girl. Hey, how are you doing? Is there someone coming in my life anytime soon? Oh, bless your heart. Listen, this is watching the pot boil energy. Is it boiled yet? Is the water boiled yet? Is the water boiled yet? Girl, go live your life and let him find you. Now, that being said, you said someone, and you didn't say husband, marriage, etc. But you said someone. So let me answer that question. Yes, there's a big change coming, first of all, which may or may not have to do with the relationship part, but there is a big, big change. You're when I tune into your energy, I feel restricted. Like I can't move the way I want to, and I'm not sure what that's about. Like I don't know the context for that, but I feel very restricted. I can't move the way I want. There may be external and internal stuff going on there where I can't move the way I want. And I feel like that's your first priority, but that there is something that's coming that's changing, and something that also has to do with finances, your own. There's going to be, and once you make some internal shifts, right? There's some dust settling about some things. I feel like there's an improvement in your finances. And this has to happen before you find the serious relationship. Not that you have to have more money to be worthy of it, but there's an energy shift that happens with you internally that then causes some additional money to find you externally. And when you're in that energy, that's when you meet someone who is more significant. Now, having said that, by the way, over when I said more significant, I just got a flash in front of me of two bottles or I don't know, just they're wine glasses, fancy glasses, two people sitting across from each other. And I feel like this person has either really good taste in wine or something like that, or they are very knowledgeable about food. So I don't know if they work in the industry or they're just a foodie, but there's something extra here with this person in food. Now, that doesn't mean go out looking for, I gotta, he can't be my person because he ain't no chef. Like, don't do that because you're gonna meet your person and you're not gonna know if they're into food like that until you've gotten into a food situation with them, right? So, but I feel like you are going to meet some other people and experience some other people. But the person that I feel like you enter into a longer term, more serious relationship with is that's this other person. Now, I see some distance with you, like geographic distance. So I don't know if you're going to be moving or you'll be traveling, but there's something coming up around change of location, change of environment. That is part of a bigger energetic change for you. That then it's like there's a series of events that happens. There's an energy shift that's going on with you now. I feel like you feel constricted. I feel like I feel like literally some like a crab or something. Like this is my symbology here. Like don't take the crab part literal, but I feel like maybe like a crab that's outgrowing its shell and the discomfort of that, and I'm outgrowing it, and then you break through that, and then that breakthrough energy shift is what causes some more money to flow. And as you're in that expansive energy, is when you meet this other person. In the meantime, you will meet some other people and have some experiences with other people. But I keep feeling like there's some kind of big change coming up with you that might also include some kind of change of location. Okay. So I hope this is helpful for you, Mecca. Thank you so much for your question. All right. Hey, Chayla is in here. It's been a long time. How you doing, girl? A happy Valentine's Day. So RA said, I would love the experience of a kind and wealthy mate. So tired of struggle love. Oh, well, girl, I know you're speaking for a lot of people. Nobody wants that struggle love. But don't look outside of yourself for the things that you need. A lot of what you're wanting is already in your womb space, the kindness and the abundance. If you get a chance, go back and look at the live stream I did last week with my mom about womb healing because it was fire. It was absolute fire. What day was that? It was Friday. It was a week ago. Yeah, it was Friday. So go back and look for the February 7th womb healing live stream, either on YouTube or on my Facebook, with my mom, Ife Taya White, because we talked about that stuff. But my immediate first feeling with you is what you're looking for out there is already in you in here. And you got to connect with that energy so that you can recognize it out there. Right now, you're not recognizing that energy and you're looking for, there's almost some, I need somebody to rescue me kind of energy. A little bit, just a little bit. You don't have to entertain people who come to you who are in a deficit emotionally or financially. It's not your job to fill them up. So you can let them go with love. You don't have to judge them, just you don't have to entertain them either if that's not what you're looking for. So that's within your control and your choice. Taylor said, I'm making it. Miss you lots. Yeah, girl, where are you these days? Keisha says, Happy Love Day. April said, It's fire. I love it. Yes, ma'am. Go back and listen to your recordings. It's in there. We talked about it. Oh, K, is it? I don't know what to call you. K Clar 005. That says, yes, that was fire. I'm so glad that that resonated with you. Thank you so much for your question earlier. Okay. Oh, da, da, da. Chayla says, oh, Chayla has a question. Chayla said, will there be, why is this not showing up on my screen? There we go. Will there be good male companionship relationship in this year? Let me tune into that. Um, okay, so there's a couple layers to this answer, Shayla. One is you're going to have to address within you, because remember, there's the internal and there's the external. You're going to have to address within you this underlying belief that there aren't a lot of good men out there. You're going to have to address that because it is very difficult to attract into your life what you believe does not exist. It's very difficult to attract into your life with what something that you believe does not exist. Um, so also defining good. What is good? What are you looking for, right? So something that feels good to you. Let me tune into. Okay, so what I'm picking up for you is a couple things. One, there are some good men, and I'm even getting that there's some good men around you now, but you can't see them because you have not healed the point of attraction. A lot of us are spending a lot of time trying to heal the relationship and heal the interaction. We need to heal our point of attraction and what we are attracted to. When we are attracted to a certain energy or a certain type, it is, as we talked about last week, what's based on what's going on in our womb, and we attract to the level of healing of our womb space, right? But when you are attracted to a certain energy or a certain type, you physically cannot see another type or another possibility because you're only like keyed in. It's almost like radar or sonar or something. It's like, do, 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 do. Like you're keyed into a certain energy. And until you heal your attraction function, which also is womb space issue, you won't even be able to see the other people around that are not that type, even if they're right in front of you. Like you literally can't see it with your own physical eyes. It's like they blend into the background, like they're wearing camouflage because you're keyed into, subconsciously you're keyed into a certain other frequency. So when you start to heal the attraction piece, you're going to see that there's a greater abundance of compatible good men around you on every level, friendship, work, and love relationship. Right now, you can't see it. And one of the things specifically that I'm seeing is healing two things. One, being exploited for your kindness, where partners have turned your compassionate, loving nature against you, or have used it to manipulate or betray you, that specific thing. The other thing is I'm seeing some There's some abandonment stuff in there too. So those are two things to look at how that shows up in your life. And again, I'm not saying that you have to have this all like fixed and healed in order to find love. You are worthy of love right now as you are, even with whatever healing you need to do. This goes for everybody. You don't have to be healed in order to be worthy of love. We all know people who ain't got their shit together, but somebody loved them. They got baggage and issues and wounds and trauma and illnesses and whatever, and people love them, right? So that's not the issue. Also, we have loved people who ain't had that shit together. So being fully healed is not a prerequisite for being loved, but being healed and moving towards wholeness makes it easier for us to spot compatibility, true compatibility. And we spend less time wasted on people who are not good matches for us for whatever reason. So I thank you for that question. There was something else I was going to say that wasn't related, but it just escaped me. It'll come back. Thank you for your question, Shayla. Who is in Atlanta? Oh, Kay Clark, Kimberly. Hey, girl. Oh, all right. So thank you for your joyful spiritual eyes. Thank you. Thank you. Shayla said, interesting. I get a lot of men that want me to ultimately build them. I need them to come ready. Yes. And stop entertaining those folks on any level who want you to build them. Don't even like, well, what about, cut that off earlier. Cut it off earlier because you're using up too much of your precious energy with that. Misha Wealth Magic says that's deep. Taylor said, gosh, I needed to hear that and heal that. Thank you. She says, Kimberly says, I think it's my problem at times. I see folks in love and wonder why not me. You don't know. Well, first of all, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. A lot of people who look like they're in love, especially on social media, Instagram love. But even on the outside, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors and what the health is of their relationship. So what's for you is for you, and your time is coming. Meanwhile, focus on your joy and not on what's missing. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't want love and partnership and whatever else, but keep your attention on what you want to grow. Hi, Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa. What does 111 and 1111 mean? I see these numbers daily for about 3 years now. Okay, this is a great question. These are typically called angel numbers, right? And you might see 111, 1111, 333, 1234. You might see versions of your phone number, of a birthday of you or someone that you're close to or were close to that has passed on. You might see your house address or whatever, or, all of that stuff. It's called angel numbers. And often, what it typically means is angels, ancestors, spirit guides are usually trying to get your attention, or they're just affirming to you that they are present and that they're near. So, and people will say, well, this number means that, and this number means that. I don't really subscribe to that because the numbers are going to be specific to you, with the exception of like 1111. And the reason why is on a clock, 1111 is the only 4-digit single number, like 1111. There's no other greater alignment that a digital clock can display to you, right? There's no 2222, at least not in the 12-hour clock on the American system. There's no 12, even 1212 is two different numbers. So 1111 is the highest, visual alignment that a clock can show you. So it's just saying, hey, pay attention, we're around. Here's the other reason why. Everybody keeps saying they want to hear from their angels, their ancestors, their spirit guides, whatever. But y'all would run screaming from the room if they showed up in their full glory in front of you in your living room or in your bedroom while you're trying to sleep at night. Oh my God, you all would freak the fuck out. So they're trying to figure out what's a gentle, non-intrusive, non-threatening way that I can let Lisa know that I'm here. Oh, I know. Let me get her attention with this number. For some people, it also means, okay, the number is here. Pay attention to something else bigger that's around you. And sometimes certain numbers are associated with certain angels, ancestors. Like you might have a parent who's deceased and you keep seeing their birthday, or things like that. So it's going to vary a bit from person to person. But yeah, it's not coincidental. It is synchronicity, and just that alone lets you know to pay attention. It also could just mean you're in alignment in that moment that you're seeing it, right? So it's going to be a little bit different for each person, but it's not a coincidence. So thank you so much for your question. Hey, Charlita. Okay, April says, loving yourself. Can you share how to go deeper with yourself and love yourself? Love book. Okay, thank you. And shameless plug for a year of self love journal. 52 weeks of prompts and practices for loving who you are. This is a workbook. It's a book you do, not a book you read. And it helps you to discover how to love yourself. And part of loving yourself is first accepting what is without trying to fix it, just being present to yourself. Secondly, is reprogramming your thoughts, because there's so many ways. The voice of criticism, the voice that I'm not enough, or what will people think, or you shouldn't be, or why did you do that, and all the ways we beat ourselves up. That is not our voice, and it's not God's voice. So whose voice is that? That comes from outside. Usually it's some early life programming, and sometimes from people who meant well. Sometimes it's people who didn't mean well, but sometimes people who meant well according to how they felt they could keep us safe, right? So it's getting to the bottom of that. And also the third part is the somatic part of getting into your body, of breathing, of finding where the pieces of you that you the ways that you don't love yourself are residing in certain parts of your body or even in your cells, and doing the work to bring that into balance and harmony. And it's a process. It's difficult to explain in a soundbite, but it is a process of the parts of me that I find most unlovable, the parts of my body, the parts of my personality, the parts of my habits. I'm willing to love those parts. Even as I'm growing, even as I'm wanting to bring myself into harmony, even as I'm healing, I'm willing to love all of my parts inside and out exactly as they are. And that's the first place to start. And if you say that and it starts to feel weird, that okay, I'm willing to learn how to do that. Even if you're not ready yet, then you can be willing to learn. It's sometimes it's a deep jump from self-loathing and low self-worth to, oh my God, I love myself. It's step by step, and it's not a one-time thing. It's a series of choices that we make every single day. It's like right now in this moment, what is the most loving thing that I can do for myself? Or you're faced with a decision, everything from what I'm going to eat today to whether I'm going to entertain some nonsense at work. What's the most loving thing that I can do for myself in this situation? What's the most loving, most powerful, and most loving choice that I can make in this situation? And start by asking those questions and just see be willing to see the ways that we make choices all day, every day, big ones and small ones, that are not loving to ourselves, and then being willing to bit by bit shift those thoughts and behaviors and beliefs. So thank you for that question. So Chandler said, regard to angels and ancestors showing up in the room, and said, yeah, let them show out without tossing the items in the room. Chandler said, is the book available on Amazon? Yes, actually it's on sale on Amazon right now. It's also available on Target, Barnes and Noble website. It's available at a lot of independent booksellers. And if you go to your local bookstore, which I always recommend supporting your local bookstores, independent bookstores, go in there. If it's not on the shelves, and ask them for it. They can order it from you because it's a major publisher, Rock House Press. They should be able to get it for you. But it's actually on sale on Amazon right now. Thank you for asking. Again, shameless plug. Okay, Leisha. Hey, Dr. Leisha says, I want to move closer to home. Is that happening this year? So immediately before I even finish reading the question, I got a yes, it's happening. The question is about the timing, about whether it's this year. I got a yes that you're moving. The question is about the timing. Let me kind of tune into that, Dr. Leisha. And by the way, if you are just joining, I'm Jamila White. I'm a psychic medium. I'm an intuitive life coach. I work with energy sensitive women to help them trust their own intuition so that they can make better life decisions and live in joy, peace, abundance. You can reach me on my website, jamilawhite.com. Let me put that up here. Okay, you can reach me there if you want to do a one-on-one. By the way, I do have a special going on right now, 50% off all intuitive readings. And I'll put the code in the chat. It's good for 48 hours, so it ends on February 16th at midnight. It's V-Day 2025. It's in the chat. And Dr. Alicia, I haven't forgotten about you. Okay. So you can go to my website, JamilaWhite.com, and book and 50% off. Okay. Until February 16th. Any intuitive reading, make sure you put V-Day 2025, all one word, into the coupon code box. All right. Oh, Dr. Alicia's asking about moving. Let's see. Yes, moving. Like, I feel you're moving someplace that is more aligned with your heart and your energy. Like, it feels better for your nervous system and for your heart. Like, I feel very joyful in this location that I'm moving to when I step into your energy, right? It feels calming. You're going to have to make a clean break, though. I feel like this isn't a maybe. Like, you got to make a clean break, a decisive break when it's time. And also, I feel like whatever place you're leaving, it's kind of like you close the door to that chapter. It's like you're going to be at a crossroads. And you're going to make a clear decision this way, that way. All right. Now, timing wise, that's the part. What are they telling me about timing? Okay. Here's what they say when I ask your guides, your ancestors, my ancestors, all of them together in cahoots, ancestors, angels, spirit guides, they all get together. When I asked them to help share a little bit more about the timing of your move, I said, are you moving this year? And here's the answer that they gave. I'm going to give it to you word for word, right? This is what they said. Not this year, but within a year. So what that tells me is by this time next year, you've either already moved or you're in the process of moving. So it may not, technically, it may not happen in 2025. I'm not sure. It could happen earlier, but they tell me that within a year. So you will know, I feel like you will know at the end of 2025 where you're going if you're not already there. I'm also getting like there may be a two-part move. So I don't know if you're going someplace temporarily and then into the final property, but I almost feel like there's two pieces. So I'm not sure what that's about, but just be a little flexible. But I really, 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 really like the energy of this move. So stay grounded, trust your own intuition around how to move with this. And when I say trust your own intuition, it's not like you are just going to be given a blueprint of how everything is going to go, but sometimes it's a step by step thing. Okay, now I'm going, and now I got to move this way. Now I got to call this person. Okay, what's next? Now they said sit tight for a week. Okay, now like it's a step by step thing. But if you do that, if you stay grounded, if you tune into yourself, if you really trust your intuition around this and your guidance around this, you're going to really love where you end up when the dust settles. Again, like I said, there might be a two-part move here of someplace temporary and then going into a more permanent, nothing is permanent, a more long-term situation. And I also feel like whatever that long term situation is, you end up getting a good deal on it. So I don't know. I feel like there's a good financial deal, whatever the finances around that, whether there's equity or a great rent, or I don't know what that is, but I feel like you're going to be very pleased with how that goes once the dust has settled. So thank you so much for your question, Dr. Leisha. Hey, my sister Sydney just jumped on here talking about I'm liking this black love in the afternoon. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was an impromptu thing. I wasn't really planning on going live today, but here I am. Hey, Raven. What's up, Soror? It's good to see all these familiar faces in here. Yes, yes. All these people. Okay. Like Alicia said, yes, yes. Great. I'm glad that that was helpful for you. And by the way, I love doing this, but if you want to share some love offering, I have my love offering receptacles, or is that a word? Receptacle? Yeah, it is. On the screen, Cash App, PayPal. I also can do Venmo and some other stuff, but Cash App and PayPal are on there. I always am appreciative of any gifts that you want to give. Thank you so much. So let's see. Keisha has a question. Keisha said, are there any just general messages for me? I always love these questions. I always love general messages, just the openness of it. Just the openness of it. Okay. Thank you, Keisha. Get some tea as I'm tuning into your energy. Hey, PJ, just joined in. If you're in here, click the like or love button because that will help for whatever platform you're on to show you my stuff more often. And if you want to share with a friend, let them know that I went live. You can tag them or you can forward it or you can share onto your own page. All right, Keisha, let's see what's going on with you. Yes. Okay, Keisha, I don't know what this is about dancing. Like, I don't know if you are like doing some intentional dancing, taking a class, thinking about taking a class, thinking about going dancing, or if this is a message from spirit that you need to dance more. But I'm just like getting something about you and dancing. All right, let me see what's happening. Dancing shifts your energy, you specifically. Movement and dancing will shift anybody's energy, but this is a message specifically for you, Keisha. Oh, dancing is going to change your energy, and dancing is also going to keep you grounded when there's some big change or upheaval, either that has already been happening or that's coming down the pipeline. Now, like I said before, change and upheaval is not always a bad thing, but it is change. And sometimes a big good change can still be rough on your system if you're energetically sensitive, right? So, but they're saying dancing can be grounding, and whether that's I'm cutting up at the club or at somebody's birthday party, or whether it's a certain cultural kind of dance, African dance, belly dance, or a dance like movement like Tai Chi. This is my imitation of Tai Chi because clearly I don't know what I'm doing, but I just felt like I wanted to show slow movements that weren't necessarily dancing movements, or maybe you being involved in teaching or mentoring other people who are dancing. I don't know what this is, Keisha, but it's something about dancing. Yes. Yes, I said dancing. Move your body. It also shifts. It literally, if you dance from your hips, abdomen, which culturally for many black and brown people, that's where a lot of that movement is. That also literally shifts the chakra energy, and it can call in some changes that you want into your life, right? So you don't have to dance in public. You just dance by yourself in your living room. It doesn't matter. But I'm just getting that get that movement going. Get that movement going. Let me see if there's any other message for you. Yes, ma'am. There's a grandmother here, grandmother, great grandmother energy has popped in. She's taking credit for the dance message. I'm asking if she'll share more about who she is. She's definitely on the other side. Grandmother, great grandmother energy. All right. Is there a name, an initial? This is on your father's side, your father's mother or your father's grandmother. This is on your father's side, on your paternal side. There's a female ancestor in your direct lineage. So this wouldn't be like an aunt or something. It's in your direct lineage, like your father's mother or your father's grandmother is here, and she's the one that's talking about giving this message around dancing, and about dancing to regenerate your energy. She's also talking about focusing on marriage. So if you're in a relationship, there's a greater focus in this season or the season that's coming in about focusing on marriage relationship. And if you're not in a partnership, there's somebody coming because she said focusing in on marriage. Okay, those are the words that she gave. Thank you so much for your question, Keisha. All right. While I'm reading through these other ones, I've got love offerings on the screen. Thank you, Tanisha, for your gift, your Black love offering that you just sent to my PayPal. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see. You just said I need someone to teach you how to. Well, you know what? Maybe that's part of the joy is in connecting over dancing. You never know who you might meet. You know, I'm a child of the 80s. I was born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s in the age of dirty dancing and fame and flash dance and breaking one and two and all of these dance movies, right? And so maybe you meet somebody through this dancing thing. I don't know, but I know you need to be dancing. Okay, let's see what else is coming up. Let's see. Raven says, "Are there any general messages for me?" All right, let's see what's coming up, Raven. I'm tuning into your energy. Yes. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so I'm getting a message, Raven, about force versus flow, and some fine tuning around. You got strong manifester energy, even if you haven't been feeling it much lately. You have strong manifesting energy. And there's some fine tuning going on because they're saying that what you think of as flow or allowing, in some ways, you're actually trying to force instead of allowing. There's something specific that you're either doing or thinking that in your logical mind you thought is allowing and manifesting, but it's actually the opposite energy. Again, this isn't the big stuff. This is fine tuning for you, right? So let me see what else is there. One is breakthrough in your marriage, right? So there's a shift in energy. Marriages have ebbs and flows, and they also have seasons. So there's a breakthrough around marriage. There's also a call for you to give yourself more compassion. You can be very compassionate and supportive for other people, and I'm getting a message for you to turn that compassion to yourself, and that there's a voice inside your head that is very, very judgy of yourself and where you are versus where you're trying to be. And it's not a gentle voice at all. If this was your best friend, if this was your sister, if this was your child, you wouldn't use that voice and these words that you have against yourself in your head right now. So it's a message about being mindful of that. I'm also getting a message around one, you have a lot of guidance and guardian angels and stuff around you right now, but they're giving me a message too about creativity and focusing in on your creativity. Even when it seems frivolous, like it doesn't seem like sometimes you can be very process oriented, and they're saying that this may not look like it's part of the process for drawing into you, creating opportunities, connections, whatever that you want to create, but it is creativity, hobbies, creativity, whatever you want to do. Um, when done with the energy of playing and creativity versus adulting kind of creativity, where what's the budget? Who else is going to be there? How long should I do this? I must go in secret. That's different. But play like you play when you're 6 or 7 years old. If you bring more of this energy for your own self, again, not connected to family, but for you, with you, you're going to see some changes in the results for some other things that seem unrelated for what you're trying to do, create or attract. So they're saying you're an energy master, and you went from high school to college. So at high school senior year, you're at the top of your game, and you know how everything goes and you're good at it. And then you go from that to being at the bottom again, and it feels like the bottom and you don't like being at the bottom, but it's not the same because it's not a step backwards. It's the bottom of the next level. But it can feel a little disconcerting because number one, the tools from the old level don't work on this new level. So a lot of the practices that you have or the ways that you do things that work for you in the past, they don't work the same on this new level, or they don't work at all. And there's nothing wrong with the tool, it just doesn't work on this level. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that you're learning new tools for this new level. And it's an uncomfortable process at this stage. But I'm feeling like, well, one, I'm seeing something around trip, travel, distance, and I keep hearing in my right ear about a relationship breakthrough. And I don't know if those two things are related or not. But yeah, I'm getting like tweaking your practices because you're a master manifester. Master manifester. Thank you, Raven. All right. Hey, PJ, I'm glad I caught you live too. Thanks for coming. Dr. Alicia says, thank you. Yes. Oh, by the way, we had a massive full moon on Wednesday that we're still in the energy of. So put in the chat, how are you feeling? Put a one if you feel really great. Put a two if you feel a little bit off this week. Either a little weird, a little grouchy, a little sensitive, a little tired. Put a two. By the way, Keisha said, oh, wow, hey, Grandma. Put a one if you feel good. Put a two if you feel a little weird. Put a three if you just feel awful. And it's okay. We are friends here. Oh, by the way, okay, Keisha said thank you. Andrea said, I met my fiance dancing. What? So maybe that message was for a number of people. And, in addition to Keisha and La Vie says, I've been wanting to learn Kazamba. Ooh, that's the sexy dancing. Raven said, thanks. I've been hearing I moved up a quantum leap. Yes. Okay. Jessica says two. Keisha says, I feel great, optimistic. La Vie says one like a superhero. April says two. Now Willie says, I'm super creative on fire. Louise says two. Sydney says one and two. Now Willie says two. Kristen says three. Oh, awesome. I'm not sure if I got all the numbers on the screen, but thank you. I'm seeing a lot of ones and twos, a couple of threes. Linda L says two. I know my sleep was a little weird. PJ says two, 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 two. Blue Hummingbird says two. Out of alignment. Yeah. Kimberly Clark says two. Okay. I'm feeling a bit off, want to be by myself, going to bed early. Yes. And I've been feeling like extreme sensitivity around my physical senses, like noises and smells and things were really just like everyday stuff was just irritating me under my skin yesterday. It was really strange. Lakeisha says, shout out to all the Keishas in the chat. This feels like a personal reading for me too. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Mecca says three. And for those of you who are just joining, because we're like more than an hour and 20 minutes. Good Lord, I'm gonna have to get off of here. Go back to the beginning of the chat because I had some messages around some general stuff about energy sensitive people and relationships and how this ties into our 2025 energy theme of knowing, and some stories about when you're on your path, you don't have to worry about whether you're going to find your person because they'll find you. What if your person is on your path, but you're not on your path? And when you're not on your path, you've been ignoring and postponing exploring the things that you're curious about, taking the trip that you were meant to take, moving to where you were meant to move. And sometimes it's not the big life decisions, but it's the little things like I keep feeling like I need to go take this Reiki class, or I keep feeling like I need to try this other grocery store on the other side of town. Pay attention to this energy of curiosity or these little nudges that you get, even if you don't know why, because those are nudges that keep you on your path and your person, not just your person, but everything that you want that you don't already have is on your path. But the question is, are you on your path or are you being inauthentic to your own intuition? Okay. Keisha said her creativity is off the chart. All right, I'm gonna take two more questions and I'm gonna pull them from what's already there. I mentioned for those of you just joining, I have a Valentine's Day special going on, 50% off any intuitive reading. You can book it on my website. This is good for 48 hours until midnight, going into February, at the end of February 16th. The coupon code is VDAY2025, VDAY 2025. Okay, Raymond, I want to go back to your comment about moving up a quantum leap before I take the other questions. There is an acceleration of time that's happening right now, not just for you. A lot of people are experiencing this. It's like, didn't September feel like it was yesterday? Or, we're experiencing it in these weird, like this day feels really long, this day feels short. But there's an acceleration that's happening energetically where a lot of things are moving fast. And so, yeah, you may have moved up a whole quantum leap. Yep, that's a whole thing. There are people who do um, quantum leap meditations and things like that, where you can visit your future self and therefore move more quickly to be your future self. That's not my area of specialty, but Google it. There are people who do that, and I hear it's awesome. Okay, let me go back to these questions. I missed a couple. Oh, PJ said this week has been a doozy. Is there a message? Yeah, I talked about that full moon. Is there a message? Let's go to journal message for PJ, and then Sydney will be next, and then that'll be our last question. Okay, tuning into PJ. I'm getting like visions of natures and woods and forests. I don't know what this means yet, but that's what I'm seeing. Seeing trees. Okay, I'm also getting that you're in your head a whole lot. And there's nothing wrong with thinking. That's why we have our beautiful brains. There's nothing wrong with thinking. However, I it, it's out of harmony. It's disproportionately thinking versus feeling your way through. So if there's a problem you're trying to solve in your mind right now and the resolution is not there, try not to figure it out, but try to feel it out. Because I feel like in some cases, and this isn't just for you, but a lot of us, overthinking, um, feel your way through and not just think your way through. It's the heart that leads us, and then the brain figures out the logistics. If the brain is leading, you're not going to like where you're going. If your brain is leading, you're going to end up spinning your wheels, or you're going to end up where you got everything you wanted on paper, you check the boxes, but you're not feeling the satisfaction. So the heart has to be the drivers. The heart is the GPS, it's the navigation. The brain then is the engine that makes it go, but the heart sets the direction. So for you, two things. There's something about trees. I don't know what that is. You just spend more time around trees, or is there a place that you've been to in the past that's been calling you that has trees, whether it's like local, going to the park, or is this a travel kind of thing? And then this overthinking bit. I think we're in an epidemic of overthinking. We're in a pandemic of overthinking. Everybody's overthinking, and that's one of the most consistent messages that I get for people during one-on-one readings is about overthinking, and then sometimes they get into specifics. So thank you for your question, PJ. Okay, I'm going to scroll back down to Sydney's question. Oh, by the way, Raven said when making the analogy of quantum leap, they use the same analogy as you. For high school to college, you were so on point. So you're hearing the same analogy from different people. For you, there's definitely a message in there. We're getting our information from the same place, right? Okay. Sydney's question was about what is this year bringing for new projects? All right, let me tune into that. A lot of what you want, and I think you already know this, a lot of what you want comes through people you know and friends of friends, colleagues of colleagues. Like there's a lot of emphasis for you on your network and your connections through your network. You know somebody who knows somebody. And this has to do with a couple of different things. This is across the board a theme for you for this year, or at least from this birthday to the next birthday, which for you is mostly this year. So it's about collaboration for new fun energy and doing things with people, and enjoying gumbo, for lack of a better word, of having these different talents and different personalities and different approaches mixed together to come up with something new. This might be both for work and for fun in your personal life, but there's this energy around fun collaborations, and more than collaborations, they're saying playmates, like not just looking at it like what can we create, which is a very adulting kind of way. We must be productive and have something to show for this time, but in a more fun way, like we're playing. It also comes in terms of moving projects forward. Something that you thought was dead is coming back from the dead for as far as a project or opportunity. So there was something from the past that either you didn't get, or it was taken off the table, or you decided it wasn't a good fit. But there's something from the past that's going to make a re-entry this year. So there's that. Also, they told me you're leaving. We talking about work? I think we're talking about work. There's a big change around work. You're leaving. I think this is the year. Yep, you're leaving. They're not giving me a whole lot about the what, when, why, and who and where, but you're leaving, and this opportunity, um, whether it's an actual opportunity or an opportunity you create, this happens because again the people that you know or the people that you know their people. So it's like again this whole one, 2, and 3 degrees of separation is playing a big part in what you do this year. Your opportunity is to really master your thoughts and not let doubt get to you. They say keep your thoughts high. um, there's also something about your husband having something that happens with him that's successful, or some kind of breakthrough with him. Not necessarily, I'm not necessarily talking about you all's marriage per se, but in a marriage, the breakthrough of one person affects the marriage. But I see that your husband has a breakthrough of his own, or an opportunity, but something big and good happens with him also. So that's also a heads up. Let me see if there's anything else I want to share about that. By the way, I am happily accepting love offerings. If you got something great from today, there's no amount that's too small, and also no amount that is too big. $5, $10, $100, $200, $25, whatever your heart and wallet is comfortable with. Let's see if there's anything else for Sydney. Nope, that's all I'm getting for right now. That's all I'm getting for right now. Yep. Thank you so much for your question. When you said gumbo, yes. Well, you know what? When the word gumbo came up, I also wondered if you were going to do anything in New Orleans or go to New Orleans. I'm not sure because it was a very interesting symbol, or a very interesting analogy to have gumbo pop up. That's not something that normally pops up, even though I lived in New Orleans. That's not something that normally pops up as an analogy in my readings. So, yeah, there's that. All right, everybody. I love you guys so much. Thank you for coming and hang out with me in this live stream. Thank you for giving your time. Thank you for your great questions, your comments, your energy. I always love doing lives. I've been wanting to do more of them, so I've been doing a little bit more than normal, which is great. I think I'm going to continue with that. I hope you have an amazing Love Day, also known in some places as Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great weekend, and for some in the U.S., it's a 3-day weekend. Love on yourself, enjoy yourself. Happy Friday. Have an awesome day. Thank you so much. Bye.